You already know, I'm Luca, I'm Italian, you can hear from my accent. But my story is very interesting. I was actually born in Sydney, Australia. Could you ever guess? Sydney, Australia, because my parents were Italian immigrants. Look at this, this is me. I don't know how I ended up with this face, but a cute kid. But yeah, they were immigrants, basically just like me. I came in America already 22 years ago, so I spent most of my life half of it in Italy and half in America. And I have to be honest, it's a little bit weird to be in a school talking to students because, fun fact, I didn't even finish high school. Don't take it as an example for me. But, over the years, I understood that, you can learn a lot of things. You can get some kind of education, not just in school, in the books, but don't take advantage from me. You guys are doing the right thing. Go home, go to college. I don't know how many here saw me in, I gotta do this, on MasterChef? Yeah. Yes, you saw me here, but I must say, I was invited here, not for my title of my accomplishment, I was invited here for my life story. And I think sometimes we forget about that every one of you, each of us, have a very special and unique story. So we shouldn't focus more, on the material things or the titles, but we should really focus more on what we can offer. And we have to ask ourselves, who are you? Who are we? Why are we here? And what is our real purpose? And for me, only when I found my real purpose, then I was ready, to take the journey toward my success. But before that, my idea of success was a little bit, empty. But I was thinking, I want to open a restaurant and I want to be rich. And I always say, it is kind of an empty box, like wrapped in a very cool wrapping paper, because there wasn't really any meaning. I keep on forgetting to do this on the computer. There we go. So far we talked about purpose, right? That's important in life. We talked about success. But another very important thing for me that we forget sometimes, it is happiness. Okay? But what do you think comes first? For me, the most important thing is happiness. That should be the thing that you focus on the most. That is what really will give you your full potential. Then eventually purpose you will find. But if we focus too much just on success, if we don't have a purpose and we are not happy, our success really doesn't have a lot of meaning. But what is happiness? It's a good question, right? It's a little bit subjective, because what makes you happy maybe doesn't make him happy, right? What makes me happy maybe doesn't make half of you happy, right? For me, a glass of wine makes me happy. A delicious plate of pasta makes me very happy. But obviously, this is not the happiness we're talking about, right? We're talking about something more deep inside. Because happiness is really what is going to be at our best. With our friends, with our partners, with our families, in our school, or maybe when you get a job. Because the sooner you understand that the search for your own happiness is more important than the chase for success, the sooner you will find both. But you don't have to be in a rush. When I found my purpose, I didn't even know I was looking. It just came up. And I hope, that I think should be the same for everybody, because when you look so much for something, so desperately for something, I feel that you end up making the wrong decisions because you're in a hurry to find that something that you're looking for. You're in a rush, right? And sometimes you pick whatever you settle, right? Because maybe you thought you found what you were looking for, but most of the time you're just a little bit tired of looking. But finding your purpose might be the single most important finding of your life. And to me, it's just a little bit like love. You know, when I found real love, I had no doubts. I knew. When you find your purpose, you know. But just like real love, you have to wait. You get to wait for the right one. So don't be in a rush and be patient. I said half of my life was in New York City. Actually, no, I said in Italy and in America, but 10 years was in New York City. And very important years of my life because it was in my 20s. You know, I came in America, I was very young, 21 years old. And those years in New York, I worked as a server, as a manager in many restaurants, very good restaurants. And it was a busy life. But I must say now, I can see, you know, with my eyes as a grown-up man, almost grown up, that my life is very empty because it's just about partying, just about having fun, just about long nights and hangovers. And now, precisely, I know that my life had no direction and no purpose. You know, it's an excuse that I was young, right? I didn't have any role models next to me because I traveled, you know, I came here by myself, but I don't feel really, you know, I should have known better. But luckily enough, a wonderful person in my life, obviously, her name is Kate. Now, let's see if the picture is the right one. Oh no, this is me in New York City. I want to show you my first years in New York City. I did every job, but this was one of my favorite ones. And it was a Japanese restaurant. I would think about an Italian with this accent, with a kimono. Many times I show up to the table and people thought I was just a drunk guy walking in the restaurant. They didn't believe I worked there because I made no sense. But going back to my life without purpose and without direction, somehow I found this wonderful woman. Her name is Kate. This is our wedding day. But before actually getting married, she was a friend. And she was the first one who really kind of took my hand and sat me down and gave me a speech. I still remember the notes I took that day, and I still have them at home, because she was not afraid to tell me everything she thought I was doing wrong. She saw potential in me. She told me, I think you're a nice guy, but this is what I think you're doing wrong. And this is an example, good example for every one of you. Those are the friends that you need next to you. Because the friends that you surround yourself with are going to define, in the bad or in the good, your lifestyle. So you want those friends that they cheer you on, that you're number one fan when things are going well for you. But also you need those friends that they sit you down and they put you in the straight line when they think that you're not doing the right thing. Let's see what's the next. Oh, we're not ready yet, so I'll go back. So, me, as I said before, I was naive. Naive is a nice word. I would have another word to describe myself. But, everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody has different opportunities. And I feel that, somebody might be in a better place when you're in your 20s. Somebody may have it harder, but no matter what, there's going to be the time, and this was the other slide, where you need to go on your own, right? You need to find your path. And I like, there's a beautiful book that talks about the bird migrating, right? The birds, even if they love so much their parents, every bird leaves. because they need to find their own pet identity, and for me is the right purpose is always for me very, very important. But you might look at me and think like, why is this guy talking so much like an old man? Because I look at the younger generation and I love to give out the advice, because indeed I didn't have that role model when I was your age. And I mean, your age now, because then my mom is going to look at the video and say, no, I had my parents when I was your age. But when I left, right, which is just a few years from now, when you're going to go on your own to college or your first job, I hope that you're not going to make the same mistakes as I did. And I don't know if you're going to like to hear this. I think that the biggest mistake the younger people do is to think that they have a lot of time. Yes, you're young, you have a lot of time in front of you, right? But time flies for everybody. And sooner or later, the wrong mentality will catch up with you. And the decisions, I know some of you are ready to go to college, right? And some of you are just a few years away. The decisions that you're making in the next few years are going to define what's going to happen to your life in 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. I'm not saying that right now you need to decide what you're going to be when you grow up. I'm just saying that it's never too early to put your master plan together. Because time flies, and I think that you should use your time wisely, because your time is the most valuable source that you have. Now, how did I end up here? In a high school, very famous high school, across the country from where I live, to talk in front of these people. Now, we know that Mindy said that she asked for me. Very happy about that. But now, I was a master chef, right? And back then, I still wanted to open my own restaurant. And I thought that going into master chef maybe was going to be my big break. So maybe my mentality was a little bit lazy. I said, oh, that can give me a good push. I go on TV, and then I open my own restaurant. And it didn't go very well because, the first time I didn't make it. I didn't make it to the show. They told me that I was not good enough and I had to practice more. So, okay, I did. I went back. I practiced as much as I could, and I made it. Made it into the show, and everybody now knows, right? They say the rest is history. This is me the day that I won the trophy. Funny enough, though, that moment is not really my most successful moment during the show. There are 2 episodes that people talk about in the show. And one is when I gave the garlic to one of the contestants. She was one of my first competitors, and we didn't really like each other, but she asked me for something that I had, and I didn't see why I should not give it to her. But the other great moment that now become famous with hundreds of millions of views all over Instagram and social media in general was the butter moment, the butter toss, right? And that moment, another competitor forgot the butter. She asked the other friend, and actually they were friends. And then the other friend didn't said no. So I'm not gonna, no, this is a competition, I'm not giving it to you. I gave it to her. She didn't even have to ask.
Luca, can I use some garlic? Would you have 1 tablespoon of butter left over? Okay. Thank you, Luca. I appreciate that.
I don't think that a piece of butter is going to make her dish stand out that much. If it does, good for her. I'm going home. Tomorrow I can still look at myself in the mirror. Know what I mean? I'm a good guy. Forget about it.
Coming up.
So this was the moment that really helped me be successful, much more than winning the competition, because 20 years later, this is the moment people talk about the most. This is what people message me every single day about it, because people love the kindness behind it, because kindness is contagious. But after the show, a lot of different things happened, you know, that I promised that I was going to have a family and open my own restaurant, and turns out that making a family is much easier than a restaurant, because now I have 2 kids, but I don't have the restaurant yet. But this guy, one day I met him and he told me one piece of advice that I didn't take. He said, Luca, your you said your personality is much better than your food. And he killed me. He killed me because I took it very personal. I said, what are you talking about? I'm master chef, you know? Now I can go, I'm a real chef. What I didn't understand is that this goes back to finding your real purpose, because he was saying, you are the guy that people like. Doesn't matter about your food. Just stay true to who you are. Now, they're telling me that I'm running out of time, but this was the other business venture I did, and that was a turning point of my life, because this was a food truck. Never called anything lucky, because this thing was the last thing of lucky. It broke all the time, almost caught on fire. But this was the turning point in my life, because I was, one of the times that the food truck broke, I was home for the first time in a very long time with my family. Because when the truck opened, I was never home. And then we had like a 25-month-old and a 5-month-old kid. That was the moment where I realized I was making the hugest mistake of my life, because I was home one night, I was trying to rock my kid to bed, and my kid didn't know who I was because he never saw me. He wasn't comfortable in my arms, and he was just looking for his mother. And that for me was the turning point, because I realized you're focusing so much on the success of your personal success because you want to be a chef and because you want to have a successful business. You're completely neglecting your wife that is at home with 2 toddlers, and you are missing everything about your kids. So that, for me, was the turning point. I closed the truck. 2 months later, I said, this is not going to work. I need to be home. And that's where I found my purpose. That's when I found something that really made me happy. And I wasn't afraid about the failure. Yes, I lost money. Yes, we were in debt. But money comes and goes. But to me, behind every success, there's a failure. You just need to learn from your failures. This is my success. It's my purpose, and this is what makes me happy. So I think, in your life, don't focus too much on the trophy, right? But focus on what is your real purpose and what makes you happy. Be kind, be fair, and when in doubt, toss the butter.